Imagine a world without authors and writers. You wouldn't read and you would have a very small imagination. Your vocabulary would also be quite limited. Without authors, nobody would be able to teach about the past or the present. If nobody writes anything good, then what's the point in reading? Now imagine all those books in your classrooms. See them? Well, without authors, all of those would be gone. Some of you wouldn't mind, would even be glad. I chose to be an author because I enjoy writing. My opportunity cost was being a graphic designer. Opportunity cost is what you gave up in order to gain your first choice, or second choice lost. As a graphic designer, I would create computer animation and websites. They make about $45,000 a year. I did not choose author because they made more money. If I were choosing my career based on money, I would have gone with my third choice, an interior designer. As an author, I would make around $47,000 a year with $3,916.66 monthly. A normal day as an author would look about like your lazy day, but they don't spit out first drafts daily. Not even Stephen King can do that. You get up at a decent time and have to sit down at your computer until you can write something you think will be great. Contrary to what many believe, authors do not just send in their writing to be edited and published. The publisher also gets to decide what the cover for that specific book will look like. And if you don't like your cover, then too bad. More than likely, they will not go back to the drawing board and make you a new one. Authors also do not get to write whenever they want, and if they don't feel like finishing a story, they won't. I would be working for my publisher, and if I were to live in California, I'd probably be a client of Bose Publishing. They publish fictional pieces. There are also many positive and negative incentives in my career. Three of the positive ones are I'm working from home, so there is no required dress code, and I am not required to be at my job at a certain time. I can also write whatever I want, so if an idea pops into my head, I can just go with it. The last positive incentive is that inspiration is everywhere. The three negatives are rejection, deadlines, and the fact that I might not get accepted by the publisher of my choice. Moving on to my monthly budget. Because I'm rooming with two other people in California, some of my bills won't cost me as much. But things like my discretionary will still take up about 35% of my budget. Discretionary includes things like paying for a pet, new clothes, and other wants. My housing is 16% because I only pay about 1/3 of the cost of the home. I estimated that I would be paying around $300, and my dad said around $800, but it was about in the middle at $597.33. My transportation is only 1% because I am using public transportation. Food takes up 5%, school loans at 4%, and taxes sat around 24%, taking $697.78 altogether. My trade-offs were giving up a car for public transportation, taking money out of my savings to give to charity, and taking money out of savings to put more money into food so that I could go out to eat and have more to eat in a day. These are the 5 websites that I used. They helped me figure out the do's and don'ts, how to become an author, and what a regular day as an author would look like. In my resume, I stated that I attended Hutch JUCO for 2 years, receiving my Gen Eds and my associate's degree. I then continued my schooling at Kansas University, receiving my Bachelor's of Arts. In my career, when trying to get hired on by a publisher, a degree isn't really necessary. The skills that qualify me for this job would be creative thinking, organization, and effective communication. My recommendations came from Emmeline Ayers and Alan Alamia. Both were teachers in the Heston School District. I also had the experience to work with a few up-and-coming authors to further me in my career and help improve my writing. In my letter of application, I wrote to Olivia Grace, who works at Bose Publishing in Albany, California. I asked about publishing some drafts I had previously written up. The articles I printed were 8 strategies to build your freelance writing career. To freelance is a person who contends in a cause or a succession of causes without any personal alliances or attachments. The other article I printed up was 7 Tools of Dialogue. It talked about what tools you should put into your writer's toolbox to fix up the dialogue in your story. In conclusion, I believe the point of having authors is to help us learn and build our imagination. If we didn't have Shakespeare, there would be a lot of things we thought about differently. Reading really does help us learn and expand our vocabularies. Words are, of course, the most powerful drug used by mankind. Rudyard Kipling.